All right, welcome to another video, guys. This is Rob from Rob Invest coming at you with another video. So today we're going to talk about cash flow is king. Why is it king? But before we get to the topic, I need you guys to understand that I am not a financial advisor. This video is for entertainment purposes and educational purposes as well. So let's get to the topic. Cash flow is king. Now, you guys have probably heard cash is king. Cash flow is king as well. This is in a business setting, personal finance setting, and an investment setting. In an investment setting, later on, I'm going to talk about like stocks and equities. Now, let's start with business. Cash flow is generated, it's called revenue. Now, revenue is basically all the money that you've got in front of customers, etc. So this revenue is going to pay for everything. It's going to pay for your rent, your utilities, maybe, if you have some machinery, maybe some transportation, if you have a transportation business, your employees, advertising, and some other subscriptions, right? Because these are monthly. So in order to finance the company, you need the revenue. So sometimes the company gets paid weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, maybe even quarterly. It just depends on the company. Especially with employees. Your employees are going to help you grow the company. You can't tell them, oh yeah, when the company grows, we're gonna pay you. They're just gonna walk out the door. They're gonna be like, hey, I got bills on a monthly basis. Yeah, I don't have time. I don't know where you're gonna make a profit. So, they have to figure out a way. So you have to have that, revenue in reoccurring revenue in order to pay your employees. Like, you're gonna be hiring some of the smartest people on earth. Well, just think about Google, Facebook, Amazon, Tesla, Netflix. Like, these are trillion-dollar companies. And what do they have in common? They have a cash flow statement, right? They have revenue. And all that revenue goes towards expenses. This is how they grew, right? This is how they grew their revenue. Through cash flow. What else? So let's say you are a person that wants to start a business, right? And let's say you don't have a bucket of money. Let's say you don't have a crap ton of money just sitting in the bank. Well, what are you gonna have to do? If you have a job, you're gonna have to rely on cash flow to fund your business until you make enough money from your business in order to get that cash flow going, right? Now, the personal finance side. Now, we all have bills, and these bills, they reoccur on a monthly basis. We gotta pay it or not. We gotta pay it whether we like it or not, because we have to live. Now, how are you gonna pay these bills? It's cash flow, right? Whether it fits from a business, whether it fits from a job, or a side hustle, or dividends, or Social Security, whatnot, you gotta have cash flow. Now, you may get paid weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, as long as you have the cash flow to pay your bills. Because, if you call your mortgage company and say, well, I don't have any money, can you wait until we get a profit? They're going to say no. They're going to say, no, you cannot. Like, no. Like, we want our money. And if you don't pay it, well, you're not going to have a house. Your credit's going to be messed up, etc. So you need the cash flow. Now, let's talk about investing. More on the stock market / equities investment. Now, before I get to this, I just want to say Now, I know there's a thing with income versus growth. Now, when I'm talking about this, I'm going to speak on more of income. Now, when I speak on income, I'm not trashing capital gains, right? I'm not trashing the people who are investing in growth. So, I understand over decades, capital gains or growth stocks or growth ETFs that heavily rely on capital gains and very little to no dividends, it's going to outperform. They're going to outperform companies that pay cash flow or ETFs that pay cash flow. But for me, I like the cash flow. Well, and here's why. Because with cash flow, you could do a wide variety of things. I mean, you could take that cash flow and do whatever you want with it. I mean, you can put it, you can drip it. So you can take that cash flow and put it back into and buy more shares into that stock or ETF, or you can even take that, or you can even convert it into cash and spend it on whatever you want, clothes, shoes, etc. I mean, you can even, if you make enough in dividends, you can even use it to pay your bills. Another reason why cash flow is king as far as dividends or distributions, if you make enough money, you can pay your bills. So it can act as an emergency fund buffer. When, let's say you lose your job, right? Your expenses are $2,000 a month, your basic expenses. So your rent, utilities, mortgage, food, and insurance. Let's say that's all $2,000 a month. And that's what you need to live, right? Let's say you don't have an emergency fund, but you have dividends that pay you $2,000 a month. Are you going to worry about it? Are you going to panic? No, you're not going to panic, because you have the $2,000 a month that can carry you as long as you need until you get another job. But with with growth, which heavily relies on capital gains, you can't do that. If you had an emergency fund, if you did not have an emergency fund and you were investing in mostly capital gains, you would kind of panic, because you don't know when the stock is going to go up or when it's going to go down. You don't know if you're going to see an 8% return. You don't know if you're going to see a 3% return. You don't know if you're going to see a 20% return. You just don't know. It's not predictable. So you're going to panic a little more. But with equity investment that pays you a dividend or distribution, you're going to sleep better at night, because you get a lot more predictability. Now, the share price is a little bit more stable. So you're kind of sacrificing growth for stability. That's all I got for you guys. If you found this video helpful, interesting, very educational, please like, share, subscribe. If you guys disagree with me, put it in the comments section. If you guys agree with me, you also can put it in the comments section. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. See you in the next video. Bye.